Hello, and welcome to another edition of the Rose Garden by Secular Energeticist Global. If you're not familiar with what the Rose Garden is, ROSE is an acronym for Representatives of Secular Energeticism. Secular Energeticist Global is the group that is built around secular energeticism, which is the perspective that I wrote a book about. So, that book is called Matthew 10:10, Travels of an Awareness. Easy now, it is not a religious book. Matthew 10:10 is my name and my birthday. Travels of an Awareness is the important part of the title. This is the funny part, this is the important part. Travels of an Awareness reminds us that we are traveling awarenesses in this universe together. This is the conclusion that we've come to, that we're the universe aware of itself and that we're traveling awarenesses within this brain and amongst each other here on this planet. So we are here today to talk about chapter 9, the final chapter. The chapter that wraps everything up and tries to bring you to the final conclusion that we're all in this together. We've always been trying to update these answers. The current answers lead us to realize that we are bonded in our humanity. Right along with a lot of other things. There's a lot of details that help to bond us that way. So realizing we're energetic beings, realizing we're putting out energetic patterns, soaking in energetic patterns, processing them. We can think about ethics and how we treat each other, how we treat our children, how we treat our neighbors, our cities, our nations, our borders, how we treat our resources, our analysis of government. We can really start to, eradicate a lot of our racism issues. We can get a realistic perspective on our religions, and get our sexism under control, begin to appreciate education on a more regular basis, and come to understand government and revamp a ton of things within all governments on the planet. I happen to be in the US, and right now here in 2021, I think we all know what's going on here. It's not, I say that, but it's not as absolutely horrid as it could be. It seems really, really bad. This is not a stream right now, so we're not going to get into that, but it does have to do with us. Both the us of the world, the us in this chapter, and the US, which happens to phonetically also say us. Anyway, so we have to reanalyze so many different facets of our society, of our legal systems, of our laws. We have to look at them in the same way. In one of these videos I said the methodology to get to the perspective that is energeticism is just as important, if not more so, than the perspective itself. Because that methodology involves using logic, reason, rationality, and science, of course, but science is underpinned by philosophy. It's the basis of all science. So we need to objectively look at all the institutions that we use to govern ourselves. And we have to weed out the things that we no longer need. One of the big repeating phrases in this work is that when it comes to understanding existence, understanding all of these little government factions and so forth, when it comes to understanding existence, there's more to shed, more to let go of than there is to gain. There is stuff to gain. This is a revisiting of our foundational understanding of existence. We have this to gain. This will let you know a ton about what we have to shed, to let go of. I've already mentioned it in this video, many of the issues that we're facing, so I don't need to say them again, but everyone should be very familiar with them. This is us. This is us on a planet. In this chapter, there's a bunch of rhyming. It's kind of emotional, because it's trying to bring the whole book together and to realize our existent situation together and how exactly the same it is and how horribly we've been treating each other. I know not everybody knows history, because if they did, everyone would be much more humble. So, that's us. That's the book. I think I'll do a few extras at some point here, but you know, I want this to be a revolution. There's no illogical jumps here. There's no, okay, now we're gonna camp out in California and wait for an alien ship. There's no, you know, dues. This isn't a cult. This is the human race coming to understand itself. It's the universe coming to understand itself more clearly than it ever has. I've known this stuff for 2 decades. I spent a ton of money learning it. These ideas have been checked over the last 13 years, since having written the book, but of course I was checking those ideas 10 years prior to that as well. This whole thing has been in the works for 23 years, since 97, so coming up on 24, I guess. And even prior to that, because I was working on it in college. So, I've talked with thousands of people about it. This is us. This is the book. This is Secular Energeticist Global. This is Secular Energeticism. This is Matthew 10:10. I'm Matthew 10:10. We're traveling awarenesses. It's a whole new world. I'm not a different race than you. You know, those religions, they helped us. They served their purpose, and guess what? They're still doing their job. One of the things I've thought recently over the last 5 years is, who wants that job? That's a difficult job. It really keeps people's attention, keeps people hopeful. So moving beyond that after 300,000 years, as mad as a lot of people may be, it's not easy. Nor do I necessarily think it's necessary. You'll read in chapter 3, I'm pretty rough on religion sometimes. But, you know, it's been a long journey for all of us. We've all been on the same journey. Some of us are going to move on and understand our universal position here and our energetic nature, the fact that we're energetic beings made of the same stuff as the rest of the universe. And by doing that, we're just going to be more congruent with reality and our perceptions of reality, and therefore we should get better results when interacting with reality. That's what the whole thing's about. We revisit the fundamentals so that we can build back up and see things anew. Secular energeticism is a really great way to do that. There's a lot of ways, I'm sure. But in my studies and everything I've looked at, I figured, why don't we just give brutal honesty a shot and go with things that we know with about 99% probability of being true. So, welcome to Secular Energeticism, and check out Amazon, get my book. Thanks.